When the royal couple arrived at the Royal Albert Hall, nobody was very surprised. That she would show up this weekend was always a certainty for her. During a live Christmas carol service, what happens when a mischievous 5-year-old from the royal family takes the lead? Laughter, mayhem, and charisma galore. Prince Louis's audacious grab of Queen Camilla's microphone during her speech at Westminster Abbey was the showstopper. The Queen Consort fell into a brief silence as the stunned crowd gasped for air. But what was the little prince's memorable comment about the royal family? An iconic event in British tradition, the annual Christmas concert at Westminster Abbey was illuminated and prepared to bid farewell to the year. A plethora of candles cast a warm glow across the abbey, which was adorned with festive wreaths crafted from wood and holly. In the center of it all stood a massive Christmas tree adorned with ornaments made of gold and silver. Guests placed tokens of appreciation on its branches, adorning it with decorations bearing the names of those who had been helpful and supportive throughout the year. A night of ritual, contemplation, and regal style seemed to be in the works. Little did anyone know that a mischievous little prince was planning to turn this elegant affair into an unforgettable evening. A touching tribute to community and generosity. The carol service was organized by Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales with support from the Royal Foundation. It was a way to honor those whose generosity had brightened the lives of others in their communities, whether at home or at work. The 1,600 attendees included healthcare workers, volunteers, and other unsung heroes who exemplified generosity. It was the hope of the service organizers that the universal themes of love and understanding would highlight the value of having a support system, particularly in times of difficulty. As the assembled congregation took their places on the hallowed benches of the Abbey, the Most Reverend Dr. David Hoyle extended his gratitude and best wishes to all in attendance. In the sacred room, the choir's heavenly melodies resounded with the majesty of the organ. Evening performances by renowned artists such as Olivia Dean, Gregory Porter, and Paloma Faith created a mystical atmosphere. From Adam Peaty's touching reading of Luke 2 to the Prince of Wales's solemn reading of Isaiah 9, the readings told the story of the significance of the event was demonstrated by the abundance of ritual and significance in every moment. At all times, the members of the royal family assumed their seats with an air of collected dignity. The event was graced by King Charles III and Queen Camilla, and the participation of Prince George and Princess Charlotte, who participated in the singing and led carols alongside their mother, demonstrated an impressive level of maturity that belied their young age. Despite everyone's grief, the youngest and liveliest member of the royal family, Prince Louie, had other ideas. With his characteristically mischievous smile and boundless energy, the 5-year-old prince entered the abbey. His acquaintances grinned at the sight. He seemed oblivious to the fact that he was in a formal environment as he cheerfully waved at familiar faces and conversed with his brothers, donning a sharply tailored navy coat. At first, initially, the spotlight was on the artists, readers, and entire royal family. It became apparent, though, that Louis was plotting his own way to take center stage. The tranquility and harmony that pervaded the Abbey throughout the evening reflected the themes of hope and togetherness that had been discussed during the event. However, Prince Louis was the one who unexpectedly injected a lot of life into the atmosphere. He seemed unconcerned with the choir's singing or the heartfelt speeches, instead staring around with wide eyes. On the other hand, he appeared preoccupied with the shiny microphone resting on the lectern, as if it were his rightful property. There were many unforgettable moments at the event, such as when Richard E., Sophie Okonodo, and Michelle Dockery performed. rant, and a stunning dance rendition of John Rutter's Colors of Christmas. The scene was formal, yet you could tell that something out of the ordinary was going to happen. They may have been captivated by Prince Louis's energetic personality, or perhaps they were aware that even during solemn royal occasions, there are often tender moments that are evident. Whoever demonstrated compassion would be the room's littlest prince. Queen Camilla's speech set the stage for heartfelt reflection on being together as the evening progressed. Louis, though, decided it was his time to do something that would live on in memory long before anyone else could grasp the significance of the moment. In a room full of influential people, renowned artists, and royalty, a conventional carol service was transformed into an unforgettable evening of royal beauty by a 5-year-old prince. No one could have predicted this. Accordingly, the massive doors of Westminster Abbey swung open all the way as the members of the royal family entered. We timed every step and made note of everyone's presence. It was impossible to ignore the significance of tradition in the parade. A night of worship and celebration had begun when King Charles III and Queen Camilla, escorted by their subjects, arrived. The king moved with an air of subdued reverence. The strength of the monarchy has been demonstrated by his appearance, which dates back hundreds of years. Standing tall beside him, Queen Camilla exuded an air of poise while her verdant coat subtly reflected the season's vibrant hues. Their combined presence established the tone for the occasion, and their stature demonstrated its significance. Prince Charles and Princess Diana of Wales were right behind them. Their distinctive combination of charisma and approachability has made them famous. As host of the evenings together at Christmas Carol service, Princess Kate sported an exquisite ensemble that complemented her role. Everyone in the audience was reminded that the evening was about coming together as a community and being kind by the warm smiles with which she welcomed them. Prince William, who never loses his composure, strode along beside her and nodded courteously to the guests as they took their seats. Still, everyone there cared deeply about the children, though in their own unique ways. Even though he was still a little boy, Prince George was the most confident of the bunch. As the future king, he exuded an air of calm assurance as he greeted people and helped with prayer books. His considerate demeanor revealed that he had internalized the values of responsibility and caring at an early age. Hand in hand, Princess Charlotte and her mother strolled. She was serene and careful at all times, and her interest in the magnificent interior of the Abbey shone through as she examined her surroundings. Charlotte was a vivacious performer who harmonized beautifully with the choir's heavenly tones when it came time to sing the songs. The evening's events had an authentic and welcoming vibe thanks to her involvement, which resonated with everyone there. Prince Louis was the next. With a mischievous twinkle in his eye and his signature mischievous grin, the youngest of the three, Louis, sauntered in. His enthusiasm was nearly overwhelming as he wore a perfectly fitting blue coat and waved and whispered joyfully at familiar faces and his brothers. Although George and Charlotte appeared to be the serious royal children everyone anticipates, Louis added a light-hearted spirit to the gathering. His innocence shone through even at the most royal of events. His untamed charisma became conversation starters, and he entertained some of the guests. After the family took their seats, all eyes were on Queen Camilla, who played a pivotal role that evening. Many were anticipating her Christmas speech, in which she would talk about the importance of family and the enduring impact of kindness. After years of trying to find her place in the royal family, Camilla finally felt at home during these intimate gatherings. Especially during this Christmas season, it was believed that her thoughtfully selected words would speak to the importance of unity and resilience. No one could look away from the little royal in the room, even though the official events of the evening were the center of attention. Upon initially being placed down with his brothers, Louis appeared to be behaving appropriately. With wide eyes, he gazed at the choir as he wildly swung his legs. He embodied the epitome of innocence. Still, his boundless enthusiasm began to show as the service progressed. He whispered something to Charlotte and glanced abruptly at the microphone. It was clear that Louie was starting to take a more active interest. Despite the gravity of the situation, the relatability of the family relationships shone through. On occasion, George would lean over and whisper something to Louis, being the mature older brother that he was. A polite reminder to remain motionless could have been the message. Charlotte, who was amused and wanted to maintain her composure, laughed softly at her younger brother's antics. Sitting next to Louis, Kate watched him closely. A mixture of maternal pride and anticipation of his future actions was visible on her face. As Queen Camilla prepared to speak, everyone in the room eagerly anticipated what would happen next. It seemed like everyone in the Abbey was holding their breath. Calmness pervaded the air as the distant sound of the choir's voices lingered. Everyone was in the perfect frame of mind to reflect deeply on the joy of the season, but right then, a shiny microphone on the podium caught Louis's eye. He shifted in his seat, clearly considering something no one else noticed, and his eyes gleamed with curiosity. What followed was an unforgettable display of spontaneity that transformed a stuffy royal event. Witnesses and viewers alike couldn't help but wonder how this charmingly erratic prince could permanently alter the trajectory of the evening. Prince Louis's unexpected move occurred just as Queen Camilla stood up to deliver her highly anticipated speech. As they waited respectfully, the Abbey fell into a hushed silence. The Queen Consort painstakingly adjusted the microphone as she prepared to speak about the significance of spending Christmas with loved ones. Due to the gravity of the situation, everyone in the room drew closer to her for her initial remarks. Although it's not Louis. In that brief moment, his curiosity triumphed over proper decorum, and he couldn't tear his eyes away from the shiny microphone resting on the podium. For reasons only a kid could fathom, Louis leaped from his seat and made his way to the podium. All of a sudden, the audience froze and gasped as the tiny prince reached up and effortlessly seized the microphone. Queen Camilla's initial shock soon faded as she stepped back to give him his space, her expression changing from surprised to friendly. Being the center of attention came as a shock to Louis. He began to speak, his little voice brimming with joy and amazement, enchanted the Abbey in a manner no one had anticipated, despite the fact that his words were vibrant but incomprehensible. Everyone in the room was taken aback and entertained for a brief instant. As time went on, the tension gradually transformed into laughter. Even the most courteous attendees couldn't help but burst into laughter in response to the unexpected performance. It was completely irrelevant to Louis that he had elicited laughter. With an exaggerated sense of flair, he mimicked the movements of the choir conductor while enthusiastically pointing towards the audience and the decorations. As George's wrath transformed into subtle pleasure, Princess Charlotte covered her mouth in an effort to suppress her laughter. Prince William and Princess Kate exchanged glances as they sat down, their expressions ranging from amusement to parental approval. Their youngest child was the center of attention. William chuckled softly as Kate drew near and whispered something. After that, she stood up and escorted Louis to his seat. As she gently grasped his hand, Kate beamed with joy. "Let's save your big speech for next time." With a look that suggested he might give it another go, Louis paused and returned his attention to the microphone. When he finally cracked a joke, it made everyone in the room laugh out loud. Queen Camilla kept her poise and sense of humor in the face of an interruption. Kneeling down a little, she asked Louis directly, "Shall we let Granny Camilla have her turn now?" as soon as she regained control of the microphone. Her light-hearted demeanor and gentle voice alleviated any residual discomfort, transforming the unexpected interruption into a tender moment of mutual affection. Sitting down once more, Louis persisted in humming softly to himself while casually swinging his legs as if nothing had transpired. An entirely new atmosphere descended upon the Abbey. There was a palpable sense of joy and celebration after what had begun as a solemn, conventional gathering. Though caught off guard at first, the audience soon adjusted to the situation's unpredictability. Life is full of surprises, even in the regimented realm of royalty, and Louis's antics served as a delightful reminder of this. People were still laughing and smiling about Louis's unannounced moment after the service ended, despite the fact that it continued with more vigor. But what does this humorous incident reveal about the public's perception of the throne's evolution through time? The deeper significance of Queen Camilla's response to Louis's mischief was apparent. The modern royal family's ability to maintain both tradition and progress was on display. The poise and candor with which Queen Camilla handled this unannounced performance spoke volumes about her character, qualities that have grown increasingly significant to her in her role as Queen Consort. Every step Camilla took was scrutinized through the prism of expectation and historical context due to her prominent position in the royal family. But it was in moments like these that her true colors shone through. She had seamlessly transitioned into her role, displaying her current side when appropriate and adhering to tradition when necessary.